Dual site, what an interesting choice. Obviously, ZVP, I think, is reworked on this map, especially with the queen changes, but we'll go into that in a little bit. Let's introduce our players. In the mid left-hand position, as the pink Zerg, we have Mr. Galaxy.
And in the top right, as the red Protoss, we have MC, who hates going Forge Fast Expand. We talked about this in the previous series. MC doesn't Forge Fast Expand on this map. He plays it more safe compared to Alicia, who went for Nexus first. And we're saying, Alicia, man, you have cojones of steel. But MC, he's just going to play the more standard, middle of the road. I'm just going to gateway expand. Now, MC, he's shown both 1-gate and 3-gate expands, but nonetheless, Galaxy has to play a little bit differently when you see it non-forward fast expanding Protoss.
Exactly, and it's not so much that it's the Nexus that was actually placed first that's so like, oh my god, I can't believe you did that. It's actually placing on the low ground. Now, this has been something of a lot of contestation from a lot of Protosses, and it's, what do I do? Do I go for the Forge Fast expansion or not in this map? And let's go about the pros and cons of it. The pros, obviously, you get your expansion down, you get more money. The cons is that, look at this area you have to defend. So even Zergling run-bys, roaches on this side, roaches on the bottom. So many areas you have to cover with limited cannon placement. Like your Nexus goes here, where is your forge and your pylons and everything going to go down? So that's the big problem, and it's susceptible to a lot of different, you know, pressure builds.
Yeah.
Now, one thing, if I want to be critical on the Zerg, is that they don't go a gas, and I almost feel like you should always go gas on this map against Protosses, just to be safe and actually force them to make more than one cannon. If they see the gas down, you don't even have to mine from it completely. Just go ahead and a macro from there, but they always have to react. If it's a gateway expand, then you're actually doing the exact build that is optimal against it.
Yeah, what are Protosses really afraid from? Early pressure when they gateway expand. That's kind of why people eventually leaned on initial cannons and the maps that kind of went along with it. And it's really difficult to get this surrounding area because dual site is just like a throwback modeled compared to Metalopolis or Zelnaga Caverns, where you just have a very wide open spot, and Zerg can kind of poke in from many different directions, especially with speedlings early on. But we can see the gas already finished for Galaxy, so just like you were saying, getting an earlier gas is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, metabolic boost is so important because let's say it is something like 3-gate pressure or 4-gate. Well, you want to be able to just dart in and dart out and force as many force fields as possible. So if they're positioned around here and you force maybe 3 force fields, well, that's a pretty big that's a pretty big investment.
Yeah, that's huge investment.
Going into their army. You know, let's say that's maybe 1 or 200 gas.
Andre, we see a fast Stargate out of MC. Now, this is something that we don't normally see all the time, but I know we saw Puzzle do this against Moro back on dual site, where it just kind of initially excuse me, goes for, you know, the Void Ray and then force fields the ramp while destroying everything in the main base. And you know what? MC's just going to change it up a little bit and just stay on one base. This is pretty interesting.
A lot of times we don't see this just because of the queens being so strong in this early game stage, especially now lately in you know, the recent meta game where queens have that 4 range against, or excuse me, 5 range against the regular ground units. But it's going to be interesting how he actually is able to yield any sort of you know, revenue from what? Wait, what? It's not Void Rays?
It's Phoenixes.
What is going on?
Yeah. This is really interesting from MC.
The last time I saw this build was Noni using it against Damaga in season number 1, and it got destroyed. It got dismantled.
Stargate Phoenix expand.
it was like it lacked any power, and all Damaga had to do was make Zerglings, and he won.
Yeah, this is pretty old school. We haven't seen this in quite some time, and
it just has no substance. It's too much support units in the beginning stage. So it's like, how do you deal with something like, you know, super mass units or something like roaches? Zerglings or roaches. How do you deal with that? Well, that's what Zerg normally makes this early in the game.
Wow, that's what Galaxy's making right now, because he knows his opponent wants to get that expansion and he wants to pressure it immediately. MC does drop the Nexus. You see the first Phoenixes are moving out across the map. MC, is he paying attention to his units? Does force field immediately. Trap units, but a couple Zerglings do get in. They're going to see that Stargate. Or are they?
Oh, first Phoenix might go down. Oh, MC not paying attention. And now is going to lose one of the Phoenixes. That was pretty important. The second Queen being picked up as we speak. But in the meantime, it looks like the Zerglings were able to run in just barely. But the Roaches on their way over. How does MC actually deal with that? Normally, you would have the ability to pick them up pretty efficiently, but unfortunately, MC hasn't been actually spending his mana too wisely, and I feel like, you know, you really need to actually split it up so that you can pick up multiple units at the same time. Now, oh no, MC might lose a couple of sentries here.
Oh, very nicely placed force fields, though, to trap those Roaches. Now he's warping in a Stalker. Oh, force that cancel. And a supply block, that's huge. MC can't pump out any Void Rays for now to even deal with the Roaches, but you can see, oh, another great force field to trap the Roaches behind it. And making sure to deal with it. How is MC doing this for now? And the Zerg trying to run in, but as long as MC follows accordingly to his ramp, he should be okay. MC's going to be trying to fight here on the ramp and does a great job of it once again. Oh my goodness, this is incredible play from our Protoss.
Yeah, he did a really nice job, but still I would put Galaxy ahead in this position, even though... Yeah, I would actually put Galaxy ahead in this position because he took out 2 sentries. And again, it's just going to force more support units coming out here. It's going to force more sentries. He can't really push out. MC at this position has been on one base for so long. He only has 240 gas per minute.
He's got so many probes compared to his opponent. Because, I mean, he committed so much of his larva, and he killed his queens, too. So his larva count's pretty low as well.
I agree. But what's going to happen is the larva injects are just going to take over in a little bit. And that's where I really feel like Galaxy is going to get ahead. Just because he will be able to build faster than his opponent with the current infrastructure. Not only that, he has the layer down already, so he has... Or, excuse me, it's making. Okay, he doesn't... Okay, it's almost done. I'm sorry.
I don't think necessarily MC's like in the best spot, but I think he's just like...
You think he's
okay.
even?
I think he's like in an okay spot.
He could be.
Just
I might be being a little harsh on MC at this point.
I think, just like you said, he did lose that initial Phoenix, but he still has full route, and he's gotten good vision, and now he knows what his opponent has. Like, he sees a lot of Roaches, so he knows that early gas for Zerg didn't go into a lot of tech. You can see it's almost 11 minutes in the game, and there's a lot of upgrades that Zerg needs that he just doesn't have, and MC can just continue to harass with these Phoenixes. For now, MC does have a huge influx of gateways, should start pumping out really fast some units. And the thing about dual sight is that third positioning, we saw Alicia take a good position, but if you can keep a good sentry count, if you can just force yourself on that right-hand side of Galaxy's third, he can pretty much just force his way through the rest of the map as long as MC does a good job just keeping Zerg's production down. He's picking off Overlords. This is a great job by MC using Phoenixes to their maximum efficiency.
Yeah, with this continued aggression, I mean, Galaxy is just falling left and right. So many Overlords are being killed with those Phoenixes. It's pretty astounding, and it shows you just the strength of MC and how he's been able to do everything. And, you know, all of a sudden, yeah, MC looks like he's in a commanding position right now, and it looks like his opponent really can't deal with it. Look at that, a Spire going down. This might be he's suspecting that it's Colossus.
Yeah. Like, oh man, he's trying to force me to make Hydras.
I thought it was going to mute us for some crazy reason, but
well, he does have a lot of gas banked. But again, he wouldn't be able to deal. I don't think even if he had Butas, by the time he'd be able to get them out, he wouldn't be able to do much to it. You can see that MC is poking out with his units, indicating he wants to get a third base, but is he faking this third base? Because again, there's a lot of mind games into it. You know, Zerg can think, oh, he's going for a third base, he's going to play macro, I'm going to drone up. You can see Galaxy already reads that third base, and he puts 13 drones in production. But is MC going for that third base? We'll find out in a second.
Yeah, we will. It's going to be based on this expansion. Nope. It doesn't look like he will push out.
Yeah.
I think it would be foolish to push out, seeing as you can easily lose your third base. And yes, he has great scouts with his Phoenixes, but still, it's like my opponent is still capable of doing so many things. The Zerg player is capable of doing so many things without, you know, just massing up in a ton of units. So I think this is the better decision, too. After, you know, killing so many Overlords and really impeding your opponent for so long, I don't see a good way for Galaxy to actually, you know, commit a lot of damage here. Roach is coming from the right-hand side, and he's trying to actually take out the third base. This is the purpose of these Roaches.
Yeah, at the same time, also running to the third base as well, trying to force that cancel. MC does warp in Zealots, and he does manage to deal with the Roaches back at the natural, but the Nexus health will get very low. MC will have to force field around it, and he does manage to push it off, but again, Galaxy making some pretty good moves right now.
Oh yes, first Colossus gets out here, and I think Galaxy was able to see it. Oh, look at this, Mutas are out in the field,
And
so it is a Muta switch.
And this is a great map for Mutas though, because the expansions are just so far apart from each other in terms of defense. There's a pretty big distance between the main and the main ramp, and as well as the natural and the third, so you can kind of poke in, and there is a considerable amount of dead airspace for those Mutas to fly into safety zones. Yeah. So it's not the worst choice in the world. It's just that, again, because it's a Muta switch, he's going to play with a pretty heavy supply deficit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You need to be economically ahead if you want to go into Mutas against Protoss. You can't be playing, you know, equal base or even behind an economy. I feel like that's where Galaxy has been. The Phoenix is going to get in here, and they're trying to see the Mutas. Wow, nice dodge over there. Oh. And the Phoenix goes down. Very nicely done. The Phoenixes are actually seeing that. Wait, did they see a Spires up? Yes, they did.
Yeah, they did. They see the Spire and they know. And you can see the Roaches have identified where the Colossus are, but there are cannons also in the main. Doesn't matter though, the Mutas are just going to dive them. Now, Galaxy has to be very cautious with how he approaches this, because he loses those Mutas, that's it. His game is done, because there's a lot of time and gas and just in general, lots of map control invested in these Mutas. As he's trying to poke in with his Phoenixes, he's trying to see if he can take out the Stargate as well. And he does manage to get the Stargate snipe, but he does lose a couple of Mutas. Was that a good trade, Andre?
It's hard to tell. What he's trying to do is make sure his Mutas are relevant this whole time. But I almost feel like the Stargate is kind of unnecessary. You know, Phoenixes aren't the great counter. It's actually High Templars and Archons that you want to go and move up into. I think if we just see a very defensive style from our Protoss hero over here, he'll be fine. But again, I guess the Mutas can do a lot of damage.
The sentries not protected. We've seen this from Dong Regu, where he picks off the sentries immediately. Now the Phoenix running in. MC is getting a little bit sloppy with how his armies control. His Stalkers are trying to be split up and defend too many airs at once, and he doesn't have Blink.
If he gets Blink, the Twilight Council's right there.
And he knows it. The Chrono Boost is on there as well. And so at this point, Galaxy knows MC about to get Blink. Now, it's such an awkward position for his Mutas because he could be trapping them as well. But he has to fly them throughout the north in order to escape them. But MC, if he catches whiff of that, he might be able to protect it as well. Blink does finish. Oh, the Mutas. You know, it'd be so pimp, Andre,
if he kept Chrono Boost. Oh my God, Frodan.
If he kept the Chrono Boost and make sure like pretending like the Mutas were trying to attack the Twilight Council, but now they just fly over and take more damage. The Mutas are still suffering lots of hit points. And you can see that MC does poke back into his main. But Galaxy's now bought himself lots of time. He's double expanded across the map into polar opposite corners. And MC hasn't really been able to get up a huge economy like he wanted to. He's down to 45 probes.
It's kind of weird that MC is now monstrously behind, with the Muta count being so extensively large and no foreseeable tech to actually defend against this. You know, you need High Templars. You need that crushing blow of units, the unit composition, in order to deal with Mutas effectively. But at this point, with the map layout, you can't just rely on Cannon Blink Stalker. It just doesn't work. You need too much time to actually make up everything. And I think that's what's actually killing MC. Now moving on into the third base, Colossus are in good position. They're right in the middle at that natural, but still, well, that's a lot of cannons. Oh,
yeah,
but it's powered by
it's powered by two. It's powered by
a single cannon.
One pylon could really depower half of those cannons, but it doesn't even matter. MC's just going to engage, and Galaxy going to try to use his Mutas to just completely dive the cannons anyways. Now, a big thing to keep in mind is that Galaxy's been stuck on layer tech for a long time because he's been invested so much into these Mutas, and MC knows it. So as long as MC can hold out, he doesn't have to fear late game units too much from Zerg. So as long as MC can hold out for that Storm, for those Archons, for that stability point, MC will be okay. But can he get that time to do it?
Nice little tiny Zergling harassment into the main, killing one of the pylons, depowering just one of the gateways. In the meantime, Mutas are going to try to run in. Now that the Archon is there, it allows MC to stabilize ever so slowly. Now all of a sudden, the Mutas have to kind of awkwardly position against an Archon if they want to just go bum rush into a position. Very, very careful at this point, Galaxy. You do not want to lose all your Mutas because obviously that's a crushing blow.
Ooh, MC forgot to start Storm for a long time, and now he's just starting Storm. He actually put 2 Chrono Boosts on it.
Oh no!
And so that's actually a huge time.
And the Temple Archives is right there next to the Mutas. He's going to clean up all these cannons. the Stalkers are trying to get into position, but look at how awkward Dual Sight is to actually get into position for this. Muta's just going to trade directly on Stalkers. A great trade right there for Galaxy.
Oh! Huge blinks, but you can see the Stalkers immediately are just blinking backwards because MC doesn't have that much anti-air. There's just an incredible amount of Mutas. There was 35 and now a few drop, but 7 more on the way. Now a big thing that Galaxy has to be careful about because he sees a Templar attack. He doesn't know where Templars are anymore. So if he oversteps his balance just a couple of times, that's all of his army would just be completely gone. And so you can see MC now trying to rebuild and pick up the pieces. But now that he's got Templars out into the field, I think Galaxy has to start thinking about transitioning out of these Mutas. That's
exactly right. And he has, like, Zergling Baneling to actually do something about this, but I don't think it's going to be enough, especially with the upgrades that we have currently. 1-0 for the Flyer Air, 2-1 for MC. He's looking in very dominating position. He's been accurately upgrading his army to make it very efficient for him to trade later on into the game. And that's what he's been working to. That's where his investment has been. And I feel like MC has actually put himself in a great position to actually win this initial fight when we actually start to see the trades.
45 Mutas. If you're just tuning in, guys, 45 Mutas are out onto the field. That's 90 supply of the Zerg army are going to be in Mutas. And what's so important is that this is game number 2. If Galaxy wins this game, all of a sudden it becomes best of 3. He doesn't want to let it slip between his fingers. And you know, you can see that he's been staying on layer tech for so long. His infestation pit is about to finish, but even then, his hive timing is so delayed. He's really got to make these Mutas work. But MC is completely prepared at this point. He's got Stalkers and Mass, and he's also got ability of Archons and Storm. I don't think Galaxy should be engaging and taking too many Muta losses here, but MC is blinking forward, trying to buy more time and draw the attention away from the fact that the Mutas might be trapped at this point. MC bringing his Templars into the battle. Oh, and he's losing a lot of Mutas. This is a huge amount of Mutas that are being thrown away.
Yeah, this is a very clear indicator for MC to actually push out right now. The storms! And another blink should be inbound. No, he's not going to do it. He's just going to walk backwards. Now let's look at the supplies, 140 to 180. I think this is a great time for MC to push forward. Force shields are going to be very strong. It's just very difficult to actually make these calls. Is MC going to do it?
Yeah, the big thing is that Galaxy stood one more tick of damage inside of... no, there's another storm from the High Templars, and another one's available to MC if he can land it. That might be it. He might be able to shut it down from there. But you can see MC is also pushing across the middle of the map. 11 more Mutas are on the way. Still staying on this layered tech. Oh, MC gets his High Templar snipe. You can see it run by at the natural as well. MC is pulling back because MC realizes the economy is in shambles. Galaxy's done such a great job keeping the Protoss army in check through the economy, but is he going to be able to withstand this huge push from MC? Because MC, his army is still pretty intimidating because all of his supply deficit is in the workers. He's only got 29 workers.
Yes, and you know what? MC has to push out right now. He has no other choice. I think he has the composition counter, but he has to play this a little bit more patient than he wants to. Spinecrawlers will do significant damage against those Archons. That actually affects you quite a bit, so be careful. Wow.
That's very, very significant indeed, and MC has no High Templar with his army, so he can't really zone off.
Really?
Oh, no, he does have. He has 1.
Okay.
He has 1, and that's going to make such a big difference.
Two.
Oh, he's got 2.
That'll help out a little bit more.
Oh, okay, he's hiding, man. Those things are so hard to watch.
Mutas! One shot the High Templar. Very nicely done by Galaxy. He's playing very due diligent with this. But at this point, I feel like Galaxy going into the base trade is the correct decision.
Yeah, he's got bases everywhere.
Yeah, and look at this. MC so smart. He says, okay, I understand that we're going into the base trade. Let's do it. I'm going to just make sure this third base can't be attacked or killed efficiently, and then hopefully I just have the better army composition against you.
You can see that a lot of Banelings are being in production, trying to see if they can roll straight into the cannons, but MC trying to prevent it.
Wow.
And he does end up storming the Banelings, and a lot of cannons dropped, and MC also rushing back home while sending his Colossus to the third. And he's just really trying to get rid of these bases. The Mules are now working on a huge amount of production and tech. Galaxy is maxed, but both players are not able to produce whatsoever, not just because of economy, but because of supply. Both players are capped. You see the Mulas are rushing. They see the Colossi, but of course MC blinking in to get in position. The Zells are also working onto the drone count. This is pretty much the last mining base of Galaxy. MC knows if I shut down this base, then I'm in a good advantage. But what he doesn't know is about the base in the top left. The Mulas are engaging the Stalkers. And at this point, MC can't really afford to give away too many Stalkers. The Templar are getting in position to storm, but he whiffs.
He had defensive storms. Not the right decision, obviously, but it's unfortunate. Galaxy playing that a lot more efficiently. I think waiting until you have a higher muta count is the correct decision. Look at that. He has additional mutas plus more inbound on the way. So Galaxy is playing this phenomenally, very well done. But look at this. 3 High Templars still in the back of MC's base.
They don't have energy for
Not
storm.
Yet. Not yet. Now one of them does. Oh, it could be a big storm.
He needs a later storm now, and he does get on some of them. Oh, huge damage. The Archon forms, but it's not too late. And MC might be taken out surely because he lacks mobility. This is the last base of MC. He loses almost every single one of his probes. He's now down to just 3. And Galaxy using those mutas all across the map. 57 mutas are out onto the field. This is just an absurd amount. Imagine if MC was able to deal with these mutas just with one batch, he would have been all right. But now MC is forced to continue to engage. He doesn't know about this base in the top left. If he knew about this base, he would have sniped this ages ago. But this base in the top left is saving Galaxy so much stress and heartache. And now MC is pushing into the natural, but there's so many units waiting for him back home.
Yeah, and all he has to do is wait for the, well, he's almost max, but that's what I was going to say. All he has to do is wait for that, and he'll know to actually push in. That's the best possible situation that he can have. Look at how many mutas are just flocking over to meet up with the Protoss force. I don't know how he's not going to be able to deal with this. He needs the most beautiful High Templar storms. And look at this, he's clumping up. Maybe he can get it. Storm goes down. Oh my God!
A lot of damage, and so all of a sudden the Bandit coming in. He needs a force field well. The Archons does survive, but MC needs to find a little bit more time. MC needs to land one more storm, but does he have anything? No, he doesn't have any more. Archons are engaging onto the muta pack, and MC's hopes are falling. GG! Galaxy takes game number 2, tying up the series 1-1. And we are going to a game number 3 with the series evened at 1 apiece.
Falling behind in the beginning stage to those Phoenixes, one of the most unorthodox styles that we've seen in PvZ openings. After that, he was able to get ahead with this weird muta transition. Now, the thought process is, I'm behind, let me get a unit to actually get ahead. Mutas are the great choice, in my opinion. And let me tell you, Frodo, and you mentioned it over and over and over again, that top left base was probably the game winner throughout that whole time. Dual site, normally you can't sneak those bases. Galaxy was like, ain't no problem. I'm gonna put a base where it's the closest to your other bases possible, and you're not gonna find it.
Just like Cloud Kingdom, where you expand just out of the watchtower, but they never expect it.
I know.
It's just
I
weird
lose to
things
that all the time, actually. It's so silly.
Unfortunate, but you know what? That game speaks for itself. Muta is such a good choice for that map because of the map layout.
Yeah.
We're talking about how hard it is to reach across, how awkward it is. Galaxy played and exploited that to perfection. Evens up the series, and you know what? Probably because he has a Kingston HyperX solid state drive. Thanks, Kingston, for sponsoring NASL Season 3 and for making Galaxy win. We'll be back with game number 3. It's going to be on Cloud Kingdom, actually. Speaking of that map, don't go anywhere. This series is just getting warmed up. We'll be back with more action here at NASL Playoffs, day number 1.